110% misery, like Eeyore, loves company. Bluebird of happiness, Eeyore get together, guess what happens? Eeyore complains and talks about how awful the world is, and before you know it, the Bluebird of happiness is as sad and as miserable and depressed and down and blue. They're both blue to begin with, but one's happy blue, one's sad blue. And before you know it, the little Bluebird of happiness is as sad and as miserable as his or her friend Eeyore. So today, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, day 1146, I think. 1146 of What's She Up To Now, which is where I just talk about and document my journey. I share my journey from the offline brick and mortar world, corporate world of business, to the online world of business. A couple years ago, I had the opportunity, and I say opportunity, and I guess I felt like it was an opportunity back then as well, to pursue with 110%, which was our do one thing every day that centers a huge challenge today, was to pursue anything I do, I pursue with 110%. Now, this was said, I think he's a fighter. I'm not really sure. Apollo Anton Ono. I'm not positive. I feel like he's either a boxer or a heavyweight or something, but I could be totally wrong. I should probably Google it before I hop on here, but I just do the video. And it talks about giving 110%, which is one of my personal pet peeves. Back to my corporate days, interviewing people. You know, you'd ask people, you know, why should I hire you for the job, or whatever other inane question you ask. And they'd be like, I'll give 110% to this job, and da-da-da-da-da. And then I always thought in my mind, they'd say, I'm going to give 110%. And I'm thinking, compared to what? 110% of what, or compared to what? Because whenever we share statistics or numbers or information or make claims, people are always automatically comparing them to something else in their mind. So whenever somebody say, I'm going to give 120%, I'm going to give 110%, I'm going to give 115%. Well, is that compared to what you would normally give to your job or work? Because I don't know about you, but I have to do everything that has to get done in my life. And that pie is 100%. Everything I can possibly give at any given time. And of course, our pie grows as we grow and get older and more mature and get better skills. Our pie gets bigger, but our pie, our total pie, is still only 100%. Now, this is the nerdy engineer in me that this is bothered by, but it bothers me because it's impossible to give more than 100%, right? Unless something is altered and changed to make it bigger. So when somebody says I'm going to give 110%, am I going to give everything I've got to this job? Really? I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to have any relationships. I'm not going to have kids or a family or communication. I'm not going to have any outside interests or hobbies. Every waking minute, and I say we're going to let ourselves sleep, but that's a part of our percent, right? We have to sleep a certain percentage of the time. So that automatically takes away from the 100%. So how the heck do you get to 110%? The only way you get to 110% is if you're saying, I'm going to give more to this job than my 100% that I gave to my job before, or I'm going to give 10% more than everybody else or all the other people. And again, I find it a weak, invalid, and an invalid claim. Number one, because you're lying not only to me, but you're lying to yourself, because nobody can give 110%. You can only give 100%. So, you know, there's a lot better ways, and I'm sure people were coached to say you're going to give more than 100% to this job as an interview answer. And a lot of people love that answer. Me, it just automatically puts up a red flag and says, seriously, compared to what? And I actually ask people that in interviews. I'm like, okay, you're going to give 110% to this job. How are you going to do that? And then they would just freeze up because they wouldn't have how they were going to give that extra time and energy, what they were going to bring. And that was always an invitation to tell me the different things that you could bring to the organization. What are you coming? Why should we hire you? What are you bringing to the table that would make us want to have you as part of our organization? So that was tipped me over. And why does that bother me? I guess is if I'm working through the centering and the whole purpose of this year in the book, I need to ask myself, why does that annoy me or bother me when people say that? Why does that bother me? And I think it's because I feel like they're not being honest with themselves, and they're not being honest with me. But more importantly, they're not being honest with themselves, because we can't give more than we're capable of or more than we have until we grow and become capable of more. If you're just looking at how much people give or produce or create, again, the maximum they can create at any given time, like right now, is 100%. This is all I can do. This is all I can do. This is all I've got. I can't produce anymore until I get new skills. I get more practice. I try. I do things successfully. I do things and I fail, but I learn and I get better and better and better. And as I expand and grow, then what my 100% is bigger. I mean, I can give my 100% is a whole lot bigger now than it was when I was 20 or 21 years old, right? I didn't have the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience that I can share now, that I can give more value to the world now. So that's obviously one of my pet peeves. And maybe today I'll think about, why does that bother me when people claim that they can do more than they can, or that then is possible? And I think it might come from corporate America a little bit as well too, where I worked in a couple of organizations that the sales department was king, and whatever they said, the rest of the organization had to figure out and fall in line. Well, in one particular organization, the sales division didn't have a clue about the manufacturing capabilities of the organization. And so they would go out and they would sell all of this stuff. They would make stuff up and they would sell stuff that was impossible to our customers. And our customers would come back and say, all right, well, Sam, not his real name, told me that this is what I could have. I would have 100% defect free all the time. And if I didn't, then you'd give me my money back. Well, you know what? That cost that company millions of dollars, because the sales team was promising things that our equipment and our manufacturing processes literally were incapable. It was impossible for them to produce. And even if we could have made modifications and changes to the equipment that would have cost millions of dollars, it still would not have given the result that the salespeople were promising. So that's where I totally ingrained my belief of, and my absolute alignment to, under promise, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. And that's probably part of why that we're going to give you 110% bothers me from the world of manufacturing. Our Supersize Your Business Proverbs, doing 100 days of Proverbs this year. Today is day 78 of that. I think there might be about 5 days in December I did, but either way, we'll do 100 days in 2021 of Proverbs. Why? Because Proverbs are a type of idiom, or a form of idiom. Not all idioms are Proverbs. Not all Proverbs are idioms. But I want to say maybe most Proverbs are idioms. We could, not really, because misery loves company. It's pretty straightforward, right? If I'm miserable, I don't want to be miserable by myself. I'd much rather have Eeyore and all my little bear friends and all my friends and family and everybody else be miserable right along with me. Have you ever called someone that was sick or has just lost somebody, and you know they're miserable, and as you're trying to help them to feel better and find out what you can do to help them, they're just going on and on and on about how miserable they are, how terrible the treatments are. And sometimes that's what people need to clear that out and to feel that and then let it go. Other times there are people that just love to live in a miserable state, people that thrive on misery and chaos and drama. And a lot of times, I've been there, done that. We do it because we feel like we're stuck in this loop of thoughts and feelings and behaviors that we don't know how to get out of. And so we need to get out of that. But most people, when they're in it, they don't have any idea that they're even in it, much as they might know they're in it. They might be aware of that, but they have no idea how to get out of that. So our idiom today, or our proverb, was misery loves company. And it's so true. Then we tie that to, how do you use that in your business? Why is that important for your business? Do you want a business where people are miserable and they love company? They like to come together because they're all miserable together in your business. I don't ever want my businesses to be like that, or the departments, or the branches of organizations in different industries that I ran. I wanted just the opposite. And I came into some departments and some cultures that were very, very misery and negative, and this is the way we've always done it, fixed in their beliefs and their systems and their ideas of how things needed to be done, because that's the way they'd always done it. You know, the older the company, it seems the more that can be ingrained in them. And some of the corporations I worked for were over 100 years old. They've been around a long time, and they'd grown up and they'd done what worked for them, and then made it into a system and a practice and a policy and a procedure, only to realize that, 50 years later, that wasn't really applicable anymore. And so we can always, and we should always, be auditing and reevaluating and re-looking at, honestly, how's that working out for me? How's that working out for us? Does this still make sense? Yep, when I was 10, it totally made sense. Now that I'm 60 plus, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So guess what? As a grown-up, as an adult, as a person that thinks for myself, I can just say, poof, I'm going to change my mind on that. I don't know where that came from, lot of people will spend years and years, and I'm guilty of this as well, going back and trying to figure stuff out and figure out why it happened. Guess what? Sometimes our 6, 7, 3, 2-year-old brain links something up, and then the rest of our life is spent piling experiences on it that validate that belief, and the original belief was in and of itself just a misinterpretation of our younger self trying to figure stuff out and navigate life and figure out how we, survive in the world, right? Some of us came from situations where survival was the mode of operation, and others, I had a great upbringing, and then I had challenges, and somehow I clicked in that, I have to do these things to survive, when really all I want to do is thrive and create the life that I want. So, Get Up and Go Challenge, we're going to start another one April 1st through 30th, and probably May 1st we will do, even though I'll be traveling and on the road, I'll figure out a way to do the 30+ day Get Up and Go Challenge. I want to do another one free, and then I'm going to look at, as part of my other coaching and things that I'm doing this year, what do I want to do with that? Am I going to continue to do it all through 2021? Because it's such a weird year. It still feels weird. I don't know about you, but it still feels strange and weird to me, even though we're into, it's been over a year since we had COVID hit, and we're into a year of adjusting and changing and adapting to what is and creating what it is that we want. It still has a little bit of heaviness and strangeness to it. So April for sure will be free. I'm not sure. I think we'll do it probably June. I'm not sure. Probably May will be, or June will be too, because summer months I like to just give value and be out there, and then we'll see what direction my personal stuff and my business stuff is going to go after that. For right now, that's where I'm at, and that's all I've got today. I'm going to go. I've been hanging out with my granddaughter at night. I'm not sure you can tell. I'm a little sleepy and not as energetic as usual. The late hours of the night, which are not my strong suit, and then the wee hours of the morning have been my attempt to help the kids. I wish I would have had me when I was, or my grandma or my mom or somebody that could have helped me when I had at least my son, my first child. We forget, and it's kind of reminding me to appreciate and realize how incredibly challenging it is, some of these life changes, and that we're not, most of us, and my daughter and her husband are really amazing human beings. They're a great couple. They have a great relationship, and you can just see the toll that exhaustion takes on people. And we forget that we all feel that way when we're starting something new, right? When we start our business, when we start a relationship, when we start something new, we're all excited for a little bit, and then all of a sudden reality kicks in, and we're only really excited for about a week, 5 to 7 day period, and then all of a sudden what really is the enormity of the situation hits us full force. And if we don't take a step back and breathe and figure out what's my next step, and the trick is we only have to figure out, what do I need to do right now? And if we stay in the moment, what do I need to do right now? What can I try right now? It's not as overwhelming as it can seem. So that's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you around just to share, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the corporate world to the online world. All right, have an awesome day. Bye. See you tomorrow.